All right, today we're diving into a really cool idea. What if those creative slumps and financial blocks you experience, what if they aren't actually your fault? What if it's just a system that's ready for an upgrade? Let's get into it.
You know that feeling, right? You sit down to write, or maybe you're looking at your trades, and it just feels like you're hitting a wall. It's like this invisible error message just keeps popping up. It is so frustrating, and it can make you feel like something's just fundamentally wrong with you. But what if it's not a personal problem at all? And this, right here, is the big idea for today. Think about your internal state. You know, your beliefs, your fears, your whole identity. It's basically an operating system. And when that OS gets outdated, it starts to glitch, especially when you're under pressure. The best part? Any system can be debugged and upgraded. So, how can you tell if you're running on old software? Well, the symptoms are actually incredibly common. Let's take a quick look at the diagnostics. Yeah, staring at a blank screen for what feels like an eternity. Feeling like a total failure every single time a trade goes south. Or those creative ideas that just freeze up the second you feel any pressure. If any of this sounds familiar, it's not a moral failing. It's a technical one. Your internal programming is literally fighting against the very things you're trying to create. Okay, so to fix the bug, we first have to understand the physics behind the machine. And this isn't just some clever metaphor, it's actually grounded in how reality itself seems to work. Now, I know this might sound a little abstract, but stick with me. The core idea is pretty simple. Everything is energy. The solid world around you, your bank account, your creative projects, it's all just vibrating at a certain frequency. The reality you experience is simply the frequency your own system is tuned into. Think about it like two piano strings that are tuned to the exact same note. If you pluck one, the other one starts vibrating all on its own. It's called resonance. Well, the same thing applies to us. If your internal frequency is tuned to lack or struggle, you're going to naturally resonate with and attract circumstances that match that vibe. So, what does this actually look like day to day? Well, in a high vibe state of allowance, there's just no friction. Things flow, opportunities pop up out of nowhere. But in a low vibe state of resistance, you're pushing against the current, and everything feels like this huge uphill battle. It's really the difference between sailing with the wind to your back and trying to row against it. Okay, so if our system is running slow, we need to run a diagnostic to find the corrupt file, right? Let's pinpoint the main error code that's causing all these financial and creative glitches.
And there it is. This is the root of the problem for so many of us. We've programmed our systems with this really faulty belief that says, I'm not allowed to create or thrive until my financial survival is 100% guaranteed.
But here's the tricky part, the hidden payoff. This bug hangs around because, on some deep level, that struggle feels familiar. It feels safe. It's protecting an old identity, like the hardworking breadwinner, from what feels like the huge risk of becoming truly powerful and free. The key takeaway here is that we often cling to the struggle because the identity it gives us just feels safer than the freedom we say we want. So, we found the glitch. Now it's time for the fun part, neutralizing that old code and installing some powerful new updates. Here's how we're going to do it. These are 3 super powerful, totally actionable steps. First, reframe any loss as data collection. You're not a failure, you're a scientist gathering data. Second, flip your schedule. Prioritize your creative work to send a clear message to your system. I am a creator now. And third, when you feel that freeze happening, use a physical pattern interrupt, like splashing cold water on your face, to reboot your nervous system. And for those real-time moments of high stress, when that old code tries to take over, you need some simple, powerful commands to override it. Think of these as your personal CTRL plus Alt plus Delete. So, a trade goes against you, and that awful feeling of personal failure starts to creep in. Use this. It instantly shifts your perspective from being a victim to being a researcher, and it just neutralizes that emotional charge. Are you feeling guilty for spending time on a creative project instead of hustling? This mantra is your reminder that joy isn't the reward for hard work. It's the engine that powers it. That state of flow and joy is what produces your absolute best work, but financially and creatively. This one right here releases all that breadwinner pressure. It reminds you that real security doesn't come from a number in an account. It comes from your own ability to generate and create value. The power is inside you, not in your savings. Now, after you consistently apply these fixes and start running the new code, your entire user experience just begins to change. Let's look at what a system health check looks like. You'll know the upgrade is working when things just start to feel, well, easier. A financial loss becomes boring, just another data point. Ideas will start popping into your head effortlessly, and your work will feel less like a grind and more like this natural, focused momentum.
So the final question then isn't about what you can fix anymore. It's about what you can build. With a fully upgraded operating system, what new realities are you going to choose to create?